So in the last video, we looked at transitions and how we could create smoother effects from going from an abrupt animation to a smooth transition effect. So here we're going to look at the transition property, which when you add the transition property, you can actually add multiples. So let's go ahead and add this to our example. So in the last video, I had this as the example. Now I've added this, so you can see it's a simple rollover effect with a quick abrupt animation or a transition, and we want to make this more smoother. So we're going to add in our box number 2, and here's my box hover for the second example. We'll add that, the transition property. So right here, the transition property, and we're going to add the width and the height. So I'm going to take here and I'm going to just copy and paste my width and height from my box number 2 and add it to my hover. And I'm just going to change the width to 200 and the height to 200. Save that. And so we see this example has a quick abrupt effect, and so let's slow this down to where it makes a slow transition from the small box to the larger box. So we're going to add the transition duration, and we'll do it slow. We'll start it slow, so we'll do 3 seconds. And then you can see it at 3 seconds. Let's change it to 1 so it goes a little bit quicker, not 12. And that looks a little bit better. So here we have an example of the scale having a nice slow transition, but now you can still see our color goes straight from blue to green really quick. So now let's add our background color. We're just going to put background now into our transition property. So let's here go into and write background. And separate that with a comma. So we'll separate each one with a comma and save that. Refresh. And there you can kind of see it. And now it has that smooth transition from blue into green. Okay, now let's try scaling up our font size. So this is our font right here. In the transition property, I'm going to add here at the end, comma, font size. And we're going to have to go up to our paragraph, our P here, and I'm just going to copy and paste the font size here. And I'm going to do that down here in my hover. Add that in, but now instead of the size that it's at now, which is at 120%, I'm going to change it to, let's try 200%. And refresh, save, refresh, and see if that works. And there you go. All right, now let's add a rotation. So we're going to add a rotation with the transform property. So up here we'll add in our transition property, let's add transform. And down here we'll add our transform. Oops. And it's going to be rotate. And this gives us our little value box here, or value parentheses. And let's add, and we have to do this in degrees, so let's try 10 degrees. And save, refresh. Okay, we've got a start of a rotate. Now let's add a border radius. This will actually change our shape. So down here in our hover, let's add our border radius. And here we'll change that to, let's try 50%. Okay. And let's see, refresh. And see there, with the 50%, it changes it from a box to a circle. Okay, let's change that 10 degrees on the rotate to 360. And save, refresh. And you see it gives it a little more of a... All right, let's change our transform rotate from 10 to 360 and make it spin all the way around like a wheel. Okay, save. Okay, and then we got a spin. And if you notice, all of the properties, they all take place all in 1 second. Now, what you can do if you want to change the timing and have them all different times, you can add that down here in the transition duration, and you just add a comma, and you can do it in order. So your background is going to be 1 second, and then the width and the height you can change. Say if you want to do it really fast, do 0.5 seconds for both of those, 0.5. And so the next will be the font size. Let's try maybe a longer one. We'll do, make it noticeable, 5 seconds. And let's do our transform. Let's do that. That'll be our rotate. Let's do that in maybe 2 seconds. And our border radius, maybe we'll do that a long one too. Maybe we'll do that one 4 seconds. And we forgot our seconds on this one. Okay, and see how that looks. You can see that transition, the text and the transition to the circle takes a little bit longer. So if you look closely, then you can kind of see the timing differences. Okay, let's try moving our box over. So I'm going to change the box. I'm going to change the position property to let's see, relative, and I'm going to add a top. I'm going to make it similar to where it's already at, so similar to how the margin's laid out already. So let's give the top down from 30 pixels, and we'll make it, oops, let's make left, let's make that 50 pixels. Okay, take out the margin, and so we'll add that, the top and the left down here into our hover, and so this is where our animation will change. So I'm going to keep the top the same, so I'm going to keep it on the same level, and I'm just going to move it over. So I'm going to, let's see, from 50, we'll make it over to 250. So the top should remain the same, and then I'll just move over to the right, so 250 to the 250 pixel mark. And before we do that, we need to add to our transition property. So let's do comma, so top, and left. And we'll also add some timing. Let's see, maybe we'll try that 2 seconds. Okay. And there we have some movement.